right. Just first of all, just recap very quickly of last week's game. Obviously did not play very well. You go back and watch the film and particularly on defense, didn't tackle well. And didn't do the things that it took to win that game. I don't think on that side of the ball, particularly and offensively, limited possessions. And I think we mentioned this after the game. Those first 2 3-and-outs, or third and shorts we didn't get were huge. And then got the drive, the score, make it 21-7, and then with a minute and a half to go, then they go right back down to score. I thought that was a big momentum for them. I thought that was a pretty much key in the game. Again, proud of the guys in the fourth quarter, putting up a couple touchdowns and holding them out of the end zone. I thought that was certainly a positive. But credit to West Virginia. They played better than we did. There's no question about it. We're looking forward to this weekend, Senior Day. Honoring these seniors, more than 20 seniors that'll be walking. When you think about the seniors now in this COVID era, it's like, who's senior, who's not, who's got another year coming back. But we're going to honor these seniors for sure. Looking forward to that. Some guys that have been here 6 years, Malik Van, Taj Ward, a couple guys that's been here a lot, won a lot of football games and done a lot of great things. Ron Montgomery's done a lot of great things. Of course, Briggs, after transferring from Virginia. There's a lot to celebrate with these guys. We certainly want to send them out on a high note. We know Kansas is coming in here, arguably one of the better teams in the Big 12. They've done a tremendous job over the last 3 years. If you've kind of seen where they've come from, 3 years ago, when the coaching staff got there to where they are right now, tremendous job. They are coached very well when you watch the film in all 3 phases. The guys play extremely hard. Offensively, they run the football. They're going to get you in a lot of different formations, and really they can control the game on the ground. But they're also good enough to throw. They're one of a few teams, probably not many, that have started 3 quarterbacks this year. And all 3 really have played well. I would suspect we'll see 2 quarterbacks in this game. And, last week, I think the Cole Ballard kid started and played the whole game. But I do think the other quarterback that has played the last 3 or 4 weeks will end up playing as well. And he can run. He's one of the faster guys on their team as well, but also can throw. So they do a really nice job with that. Devin Neal's a guy, I think he's got over 1,100 yards rushing as a running back right now. So very impressive on offense. And then defensively, I think they got one of the better defensive linemen, number 9's an outstanding pass rush guy, very active, and I think a great secondary. Both safeties, they tackle very, very well. And then both corners, I think, are very, very solid. I think number 3's got, 4 picks. Two of them went back to the house. They took, for touchdowns, including the Oklahoma game and Iowa State game. And they won both of those games. So, credit to that coaching staff for what they've been able to accomplish and what they've done. So we've got our work cut out for sure when you're playing this team. But again, we're want to honor these seniors and hopefully go out and play a great game.
Any update on Brady Lichtenberg?
Yeah, I think he's still banged up and hurting. He'll be kind of day to day. And hopefully he'll be able to get out there and do some things this week in practice, and hopefully he'll be able to play this week. But we'll see how it goes as the week goes on.
Is there any possibility of seeing Brady Drogosh this week? And explain just how difficult it is in a situation like that where you have 2 quarterbacks that you're getting ready every week. The third guy. Yeah, it's difficult to get first and second team reps.
It is. When you think about 3 guys, I think when you look at Kansas, they played 3, but their starter who went out. So now, for the last probably 6 weeks, they're getting reps with those other 2 guys. And it is tough. Drogosh, he gets reps, but just very, very limited. And there's a chance. We could potentially see Drogosh this week. We'll see how it goes. He's certainly, a great athlete and a guy who's been learning. One of the things we've been doing. We started this, 3 weeks ago. Was at the end of Tuesday, Wednesday practices, kind of young guys scrimmage, and he's been participating in that, doing some really good stuff. So it's been great to see, and so it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility for him to get out there and get some action. And So I think, we'll have to see how the week goes, particularly for Lichtenberg, and then, see where we're at with Drogosh. But he may could get some action as well.
Your tight ends are way down, obviously, with Jowon and then Singletary's injury. What are you going to do there? And then bigger question, I guess, how much of a problem is this in college football when kids can just up and leave before the season's up?
Yeah, that's a problem. I mean, you see it across the nation. And, to speak on the tight end room, we also, you lose Joey Belgium in the spring. So, I mean, essentially we're looking, your top four tight ends are out, so you're down to, really, I think we got a couple true tight ends that are still available. We've the last couple of weeks we've played Trevor, which is, at the tight end position to give you a little bit more blocking right there. Evan Prater's done some things as an H-back type player as well. Give credit to Evan. He's very smart. He's played a lot of different positions as far as, split end, a Y slot receiver, and then an H-back. So he's been able to do that. So we're trying to take up the slack a little bit, so to speak, with those guys. And then, you mentioned this, which is, to me, is sad, that the players can't finish out a season. Across college football, you put so much hard work into it. And, when I think about, we got guys that have been on the scout team, for 4 or 5 years that are practicing their butts off and doing everything they can to help the team win. You think about those guys that, man, would do everything. A Ben Blevins guy, a Jair Thomas guy on our team, a guy that's been around for a while, and all they do is bust their butt in practice, and then you got guys doing that. So it's just sad state of affairs, in my opinion.
Emory Jones, after the game on Saturday, just talked about kind of his career up until this point, how this is going to be his last college game and how quickly it's gone as he got playing time. What has this year meant to him, and what have you learned about him and gotten to know about him? Because obviously didn't go exactly according to plan when he decided to come to Cincinnati.
Who is that now? I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think, his whole career has kind of been, it's a lot of ups and downs, as we mentioned. The thing I would say about him, he's a great person, and he's come in here. He really didn't say much. He just worked, earned the respect of his teammates. And I would say that about, some of these Braden Smith and Wiggins, some of these guys that did the same thing to come over, Ollie, Donovan Ollie. They're great kids. I mean, and they really are. They're great to work with. They show up every day, trying to do the very best they can do. And obviously, you have high expectations for them. They have high expectations for themselves, and sometimes you fall short of that. But I do think, for me, it's more about the person and the character and how they handle themselves, and they've been awesome. They've been awesome. I do think they'll be successful in whatever their endeavors in life is going to be. And I think sometimes, as fans and as people, we all we care about is how they perform on a Saturday. And as for coaches, we care about that, how you perform on Saturday, but we also care about the person. We also care about how you're carrying yourself. How are you going to be as a father, as a husband, as a community leader when you leave, this program? And those guys are, man, they're stand up guys. And certainly, they've had their ups and downs this year, and we have as a team. But I think, they can take away the fact that they've done things the right way, and, very quality young men.
I think it was leading up to the Oklahoma State game. You were top 10 in rush defense in the country. It's been a struggle since then. Is there anything on tape that specifically has kind of gone wrong in that department, or is it? Well,
I think there's a couple
really
things.
Good.
I think we play some good teams, man. I mean, Central Florida's one of the top rushing teams. West Virginia's one of the top rushing teams. Ollie Gordon's one of the top backs in the country. I mean, we played some really good teams that can really run the football. I think that's part of it. Let's give them a little bit of credit. But also, I think, I just think the depth factor for us is kind of wore down a little bit. I think we've got some guys out there that are dinged up. And been playing that way. I mean, you think about, Threats has been dinged up, DP's been dinged up, Dingle's out there in the cast, and he's been, so you think about it, there's a lot of guys that we have to count on, and we're not really, not really rotation much there, and, and I think that's been a part of it. I thought, I just thought Saturday we just didn't tackle very well. Now credit to them. I mean, 22 is electric in space, and the quarterback can really run. And but I think for all those reasons is why we've had those last 3 or 4 games and not been very well.
As a follow-up, what has it been about running quarterbacks or quarterbacks that can get out of the pocket that has been an issue?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly has. I think it's been, 2 things. One thing, obviously, is when they scramble, because we've done a pretty good job in the last few games where we're covering the guys. Well, then, now we get out of our rush lanes, and then all of a sudden they pop out, and now they're getting a first down on third down. That's one aspect. But then also the design Q runs have hurt us as well. And I think last week in particularly, there were some plays where, their design Q runs, man, that quarterback really made us pay. And again, it's when you do, I mentioned this after the game, is the fact that when you have the running back going one way and the quarterback going the other, you're splitting the defense. So now it's going to be 1 or 2 guys have to make that play. We didn't make the play. And whether that quarterback was in space, he's a very elusive, and we just didn't make the play. And we got, obviously got to do a better job. If you get, your assignment as that quarterback, you got to go make the play before you can get loose and get in the secondary.
You mentioned senior night, obviously, for this Saturday, and guys like Jowon, Malik, those guys who have been here a while. Just talk about how this Saturday night, a night game, will be a little bit more special for them and what you've seen from those seniors in your short time here. Yeah, I mean,
I feel bad personally for these guys because we hadn't had the kind of season that we'd want to have for them and the seniors, which have meant so much to this program, this city, this school, you obviously want to send them out and let them and end on a high note, but you want to celebrate these guys. Hopefully the fans will come out and celebrate these seniors and show them appreciation for everything that they've done for the program for many, many years. And, these guys have sacrificed a lot. You think about, early morning lifting for 5 years or 6 years and all the meetings and all the blood, sweat, and, they put out there on that field and practicing and then going out there and playing and laying it all on the line, for this program. I think as a senior, you especially when that game gets ready to kick off, you start thinking about those things. You think about all the memories. You think about all the people that you came in contact with, and you get emotional. Those guys will be emotional, and and certainly rightfully so for all the things they've been through. But hopefully we'll be able to celebrate these guys this Saturday and lift them up, and hopefully they'll have a great game and go out on top.
There's no bowl. You were part of this so-called silly season last year. How do you think it might be come into the game? Because probably going to lose some, probably you're going to gain some, and the whole month of December is crazy and has very little to do with on-field football. It's just watching transactions.
Yeah, just hold on tight because something will happen every day. I feel like when you get into December, right? For everybody, it's going to be, that's the world we're living in now, and it's recruiting, which we've been recruiting. All season. When you think about in the middle of December, we'll sign our high school players. And then, of course, December 4th, the portal will open up, and that'll be open all the way through December and to the 1st of January. And where, certainly we'll probably have some guys that'll get in the portal. Obviously, every team in the country will. And there'll be some movement, and there'll be some things that'll happen within that. And so, we're prepared for that. Last year was way different because you get in here, and you're scrambling. You're trying to get a staff. You're trying to figure out what's going on, and much more difficult. But now with our recruiting department in play and our coaching staff, we're all here and we're ready to go. So I think it'll be a much better for us this offseason as far as gaining the proper players to come in here and help us win.
I don't know if Barry Jackson got in the last game or not, but if not, he's obviously going to play.
That's right.
Come Saturday. That's got to be someone everyone's looking forward to see more balls coming his way. Yeah,
he didn't play, so he's got an opportunity to play this week. We'll get him in. He'll certainly play this week, and he's a talented player, and he's worked hard this whole season to learn a lot of things that are going on within the offense, and I think Braden Smith's done a great job with him throughout this year to help teach him and kind of show him the ropes, and but he's an electric player, but he'll certainly be on the field this week.
Can you take people through what the process looks like in terms of meeting with guys, how that what the day-to-day of that looks like as we get through this weekend and go into the future?
Yeah, I mean, so we'll have meetings with exit meetings with all our players first of the week next week, and and again figure out where we're at. Because you think about, I think we have one more year of the COVID senior, right? I think next year, maybe the last year of that. I think that's 24. Yeah, I mean that's been. Yeah, I mean it's. I'm looking at teams we're playing. They say senior, but I can't know if that's just their last year. They got one more. I mean, it's hard to tell, even with our own team. And so, but we'll meet position by position, figure out all right where we're at with everybody, who's coming back, who's exhausted eligibility, who's leaving, and then that we'll try to get that game plan. So as we move forward, hopefully by Wednesday we'll know where we're at. Maybe we'll know our needs as far as in the portal goes. As I mentioned before, I think we've got maybe 22 committed, something like that, in high school ranks, and then we'll figure out how many do we need and what positions do we need to go out into the portal and look. And in a perfect world, you'll be able to fill those needs and get them in here in January. That's what you really want. I know last year, we got, I think Braden came in the summer, I think Xavier came in the summer. So, but you'd like to get these guys in that spring so we can have them for spring practice. So December is going to be wild and fast. I mean, so particularly those first 3 weeks, right? Then I think it becomes dead right around the 20th or something like that. So, but it'll be wild, and then there'll be a lot of news happening. You guys will know and see that, and so we'll see where we're at throughout December.
It's obviously important for every coach and program to kind of form that culture around the specific team. Is it harder in this portal era to do that? Because, recruiting high school guys, you get to know them personally over a long period of time. Now these recruitments could be 1 week, 2 week long, and then you have to find out who you have. Yeah,
that's the most difficult part. I mean, it's a great point because these high school guys, I talk to them at least once every week, for a long time. So you really get to know them, because you just can't. I mean, when you talk to them every week, you got to come up with something to talk about, right? So you get to know them. And last night I think it was 29 guys I talked to last night, high school players, and so you get to know them. But now when December 4th hits, all of a sudden, hey, this particular player comes in. It's speed dating. You're getting on the phone, you're talking to them. Hey, you're interested in us. Hey, we're interested in you. All right, well, boom, now it's on. So then you start calling everybody that maybe knows that player. You try to get a pulse and figure out exactly what who that player is and what makes him tick. What's the reasoning? All right, what's happening here? Why is he leaving or wherever he's at, and all those type things. And it's very difficult. It's very difficult to figure out exactly what kind of person you're getting. Like for example, Xavier, that happened pretty fast. We got him in the summer, but he's a great kid. He works his butt off. Everything he does, he goes hard. So that you want to find guys like that. And Wiggins and Braden, of course, I knew those guys. So a little bit different. But Donovan Ollie, we didn't know. He came in. He's been awesome. He's a great kid. Great. I mean, love being around him. So if we can find guys like that with the right attitudes, with the right perspective on things. It's very difficult because when guys are looking to transfer, obviously they want to help themselves out, but we're looking to build a team, team aspect, and I think that's the thing that's the most difficult. And so as we go through it, we try to vet those guys as quickly as we can, and we even brought guys in after talking to them. We brought them in, and then we said, I don't think he's going to fit for our program. And here's the other good thing I think. So guys like Corleone and some other guys on our team, they'll want to know. All right, who are we bringing in here? They'll want to be around them, and they'll help us get a good pulse too about, who these guys are.
You obviously said it's going to be wild and crazy. How do you, as basically a human being, stay sane during a time like this, where it feels like you're running on 1,000 miles an hour?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. I mean, it really is. I mean, I try to, when you're not doing all that, I try to get with my wife and family and just have some sort of normalcy. But it's very hard to do. You can't even have normalcy, anymore in the coaching realm that we're in. Particularly when you start in August, because we're here every day, at least 12 hours a day for 7 days a week, all the way through. And then, like I said, December doesn't stop. We're going to be recruiting our players here, high school players, and the portal all the way through Christmas. And then, during Christmas, man, hopefully you can get a little bit of a break and relax for a week or whatever, and then you're right back on it in January. But it is very, very difficult to to try to separate the work from family life.
How valuable is having a guy like Zach Grant that is familiar with the portal?
Yeah.
And, I mean, was that one of the biggest requirements of that job, is to have somebody familiar with it?
Yeah, Zach and all our guys, Carter and Jack and Cass. I mean, the guys in the recruiting department, they've done a phenomenal job. They understand. I mean, great. They have to be great at roster management, and so we go over it every single week. We're looking at our roster. We're looking at each position. We're looking at needs. We're looking at, potential guys that may leave, or where guys we want to bring in to pull, all these things. And so we have a great plan, which is awesome. And so now you have that plan. Now we got to go work it, But to have him to be able to do all that, because as head coaches, you can't do all that. I mean, you just can't. You don't have time. And but to have that department that you trust, that's going to put the work in, man, they've been tremendous. And but we'll see. We'll see how this all ends out. We'll see how good they are. When January gets here.
Fine about Kansas. We'll get back to that for a second. The run defense has struggled lately. Does it keep you up at night watching the rush offense? Because it's as good. The numbers might not say it, but they're as good as anybody in the country.
They are. They're tremendous. I mean, to me, this is one of the best teams in the Big 12. And they've lost a couple of games. I mean, Kansas State. I mean, they're up 27-14 or 15 or 16. I can't remember. And Kansas State should have thrown a pick six on the minus 15-yard line. The linebacker drops it. And then the next play, Kansas State goes 52 yards. 3 plays later, they score. They get right back in the game, and they end up winning the game. And crazy. And I do think they're one of the best teams out there in the Big 12. They're one of the best running teams. 2 really good backs. And then last week they're doing the Wildcat. I think maybe 4 different people caught a snap last week. I mean, they put the pressure on you. They play hard. They're physical, coach well. I mean, all the things. So yes, I woke up I couldn't sleep last night. So yeah, these guys are good. There's no question.
Any other questions for Coach? Thank you, sir.
All right, thanks, guys.
Got senior running back Ryan Montgomery. Questions for Ryan?
Ryan's senior day, but you still have 2-3 more years of eligibility, right?
Yeah. No, I don't.
This journey, it's not been an easy one for you. There's been a lot of ups, but there's been a lot of adversity. Have you started to look back on it yet, and kind of what it means to you these past 7, 8 years you've been here?
6. No, I've tried not to, because there's still a big one right in front of us. You only get so many years to play this game, and you get 12 opportunities each year, give or take. We still have one of those in front of us, so I've tried not to get there yet. I'm not really an emotional guy, but I could see it getting there. I know I did senior day last year, but I kind of knew at that point I was coming back based on how that year went. But, yeah, times I start to look back, but I like to look ahead, especially with, we got a good Kansas team coming here, so yeah.
How much has it meant to you to be able to contribute the way that you have to this team in your final season?
Yeah, it's been awesome. I mean, I can just remember every year I've been here, the seniors that were here those years, and what they meant to this team and what, this team and community meant to them. So kind of being on both ends of that, it's just kind of been awesome, both sides.
Last week was one of the few times you guys did not run the ball as well as you have.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you're wanting to get that taste out of your mouth. And then what's the other motivation of coming out? It's going to be cold. There's other things going on. Students are not here. There's all those excuses that even ticket holders will make for not coming. But you guys have something to play for.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, you get 12 games. We still got one of those in front of us. There's a lot of people in that locker room that this may be their last time stepping on the field. And I think, more importantly, that the last game of the year is at home. Have an opportunity to have one more nip at night. Those are just some of the things that I know some of the guys really in there are looking forward to this week.
Are there any other guys like you last year that are going to walk but maybe come back because you could save us a lot of work if you just gave us a
Yeah,
list?
I'm sure there's a few of them. That COVID year. I'm not sure if this is the last year or not. But yeah, I know a few guys maybe that haven't completely decided, but they have that opportunity. And I know for me, a big thing about coming back, I'm going to get my master's degree here soon. Maybe one or two credits away from getting that after the semester. So I know that's another big factor into potentially coming back and, having the opportunity to keep or to kind of build this program. So I know a few guys look forward to doing that.
Was there an internal fear your senior year of high school that this was all gone? And how much more do you appreciate where you're at now? Because it was almost taken away. I mean, it was a bad injury.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have a scar that almost goes from my ankle to my hip. It's a pretty big one, so I get a reminder of that every day. And like you said, it was almost taken away from me. I had a lot of opportunities that were taken away from me. So every day I don't take this for granted. So that's why I know I'm going to go out and compete as best I can, for myself, my internal motivation. And then, for everybody else that maybe has had it taken away from them or hasn't had the season that they might have wanted to because of injury and things like that.
How much of your loyalty to Cincinnati is tied to that? Because when it happened, a lot of people that were loving on you pretty good lost your number, and Cincinnati never did.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I came at that point I was 17 years old, and now I'm 23. So I've done a lot of growing up here, and so I'll be forever grateful to everybody in this building that's still here, people that might not be here anymore that gave me that opportunity, and this community for kind of putting their arm around me the way they have.
You're a guy that stayed home, and everybody talks about staying home, playing in front of their family. How much has that meant to you, having your mom around? And I know she pops into our chats all the time on the YouTube. Like, how much has that meant to have her be a part of this every day?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a big family. I got 4 brothers and a sister. So hopefully I'll have all them out here this weekend. That's the plan. And then my mom, she's always loved football. I've been playing since I was 4, and I can't, remember a game that she's missed, even besides a few that have been, across the country. So, it's just been awesome having my whole family and that support system behind me like that.
And you talked about it, how special Saturday will be for you, obviously using your last year of eligibility, but just talk about how exciting it is for you and these other seniors to have this final game be a nip at night, one of the historic venues and moments for you guys.
Yeah, people around the country might not know or see what, the energy and, how you guys know how Nipper gets. And so over the years I played a lot of games in a lot of stadiums, a lot of big-time games, but I don't think there's anything like Nip at night. So to be able to finish my college career doing that, it's something pretty special.
Portal season is it's basically here, and it's going to open officially on December 4th.
Absolutely.
As a veteran, what would be your advice to a college football player anywhere or even at Cincinnati about what they have to have in order or what boxes they have to check before they enter that portal?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that go into that. Last year, with the coaching staff leaving, there's a lot of people that had that opportunity, so I got to kind of see firsthand people's mindset. I think the first thing, obviously, talk to your position coach because you don't know where you stand until you have that conversation. And then I know talk to Miss Carey about it. A lot of people have academic problems. They get into the portal. And then another thing, people don't find homes. There's a lot of people that get stuck in the portal. So at the end of the day, I know you have to do what's best for you, but my advice would be to talk with a lot of people that have more knowledge about that than kind of just, it's flashy because you see people with money with NIL now and stuff like that, but, the grass isn't always greener, and so I would encourage them to, take some time.
There may be other guys that jump in this thing, but is it difficult to have a teammate leave before the final game?
Yeah, it's difficult and it sucks because, you work hard with that person and you want to keep playing with them. You build a bond. And so for them not to be able to finish that last game with you, it kind of hurts. But, like I said, at the end of the day, people have to do what's best for them, and I can't fault them for that. I've, grown with them and built that trust and love. So there's no hard feelings.
Any other questions for Ryan? Thank you, sir.
Good. Thanks, guys.
Questions for Jowon Briggs?
Jowon, when you made the decision to come back home to Cincinnati, how has it been everything that you envisioned it could be? I mean, you got married, you've had a litter of kids. On top of the football thing, like, has it just been?
No, it's been everything and more. And, I'm nothing but thankful for Cincinnati to welcome me back with open arms. I've been nothing but thankful for everything here.
Are you going to be an emotional guy when you head out there on Saturday night?
I'd say, I'm a pretty even-keeled guy. Kind of get that from my father. But there will be emotions on the inside, I'm sure.
You can let it out. It's okay. Final college game of your career. Mm-hmm. What does that represent to you? What does that mean to you after, a pretty fun 5 years that you've had?
I mean, it's just a full circle thing. It's kind of encouraging to see a culmination of all my work come together on the field. And I'm just lucky and really nothing but thankful to be able to go out there with the guys and really just enjoy one last nip at night.
You're one of a handful of local dudes, high school guys you went to Virginia and came back, but there's a fair amount of local guys. Is that something that maybe they should emphasize a little more recruiting-wise, trying to get some local guys? Granted, the league has changed, a lot of things have changed, but what has it meant for you being a local guy and being out here playing?
I mean, for me personally, it means a lot being a local guy. I think it makes sense to, play for, what you love, and I love Cincinnati. I've been here my whole life. But as far as recruiting goes, as I say in a lot of things, I'm the type of guy that just focus on what I focus on. To be honest, I'm not really that much into the high school side of thing or, recruiting or whatever. But, I'm really just focused on playing the game as hard as I can for the guys.
We just talked to Ryan, and he gave some good advice for portal players or people maybe making that decision in the near future. What would your advice be to players anywhere in the country or even here at Cincinnati that are about to make that decision?
I just say, be smart, make an informed decision. And really, a lot of guys don't talk about this, but you need to make sure your credits are right. I transferred from University of Virginia. I was a physics and music guy major, but, I transferred here, and those credits don't exactly line up. I would have had to have 2 extra years of college in order to keep that. So I think a lot of guys need to keep that in mind when they're thinking about their graduation path.
Into Saturday, obviously, you guys talk about nip at night. Just talk about how exciting it is for these seniors, guys like yourself, Malik Van, Taj Ward, who spent so much of their career here at Cincinnati, to have that final opportunity on Saturday night for their last nip at night game.
No, I think it's exciting. I think it's a full circle moment for a lot of the guys, being able to really on the field, and nip. It's kind of one of the most impactful environments, nip at night. So just being able to close it on that is something that, again, I'm just really thankful for and just really happy to be able to do that with the guys. So it should be pretty nice out there.
Has your brain started to drift to the memories and, think back on things, or are you doing everything you can to, we'll worry about that next week?
Oh, yeah, it's kind of a worry about that next week. It's so much preparation that can go into, for me, the guys we're seeing next week or seeing this week. So I'm just kind of focused on the game. And, when I can worry about memories, it'll already be, 000 on the clock. So
I think you're going to practice at a pro facility today. I don't guess you'd be opposed if they came and watched you a little bit. What do you have to offer to the NFL? Are you inspired by the Ivan Paces and guys like that you've seen make it, and you've came from the same team?
Yeah, I mean, there's inspiration there. And, obviously, it's just one of those things to where there is an end goal. And obviously, no matter what, I'll be happy no matter what happens. But I think I'll be happy to just be able to say that I put my best foot forward every single day, coming to work every single day, and no matter what happens, happens.
Talk about the game. Kansas is offensively maybe as interesting a team to watch as there is in the country. When you turn on tape of them, or are you, I don't, impressed maybe not is the word, but do you look at it and go, man, that's not going to be fun trying to crack that code on Saturday?
I mean, it's a lot of different things, but, at the end of the day, no matter how foreign something looks, for each play you have a specific job, and, it really just comes down to you executing that specific job. Don't get caught by the eye candy. They do a lot of shifts and motions, a lot of things going from, different formations to the boundary, going different formations to the field. So it's really just a matter of just being able to lock into your specific job and being able to execute your specific job at a high level over and over and over again.
Is that the same mentality to get this rush defense back on track? Because it's been, after a great start, it's been a rough couple weeks on that front.
Yeah, as I said, it just comes down to doing your 111th. So, whether it be D linemen doing their 111th, and then as soon as one person slips, that's how it goes, especially when it comes to rushing the football. So I think it's just a matter of, again, everybody's sharing the same sentimentality when it comes to focusing in and doing the best job that you can.
Seen some great running backs here in the recent weeks, starting with Ollie Gordon, R.J. Harvey. What does Devin Neal provide for Kansas that gives opposing teams some trouble? Obviously, he can do a lot there for them.
Very dynamic back. He gets downhill fast. When he gets in the open space, he has good breakaway speed. He's a very patient back. So, he kind of likes to ride out his blocks and be able to kind of see and go where he needs to go based off of that. So it's really just a matter of having 11 hats to the ball and just making sure we're fitting things correctly. That'll give us the best chance.
Any other questions for Jowon? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.